All right, guys, we are here another Wednesday, and it's been an eventful week, guys. And we're going to start out every show like we always start out. And Kentucky played a football game. They played a football game Saturday, and I'll be honest with you, I've probably been to 60 or 70 football games in my life. I've been there to the point where you could sit anywhere in the stands because we were down by so much. I've been there when we beat LSU and stormed the field. Saturday was probably, in my opinion, the worst loss I can remember. Because it was, I think someone on Twitter put it perfectly. Kentucky took 10 years off their progress with their loss to Vanderbilt. And listen, I'm not discrediting Vanderbilt. Kentucky is just, they've got a lot of problems right now. Will Levis is not healthy. We're not incorporating the receivers like we need to. Offensive line struggled all year. Defense is, we got injuries all over the place. It seems like that the coaching staff's not all on the same page. And then on top of it, the weather, the way it acted. And then Sean texted me during the game, and I think he made a really good point. Kentucky is a different animal when Will Levis is not mobile. Defenses know it. And you go back to the game that you were at, Merle, at Ole Miss. That's where he originally, I believe, hurt his ankle and his finger. I know it was it on his throwing hand? I'm not sure.
No,
it was non-throwing hand. But Saturday was, boys, just to put it lightly, the worst loss that I can remember Kentucky taking in football. So
yeah, they had, and they really had the game won. All they had to do is not rip a guy's helmet off, and then Valentine goes out, and they leave the backup on an island over there on 4th and 11. I couldn't understand that. Which White and Stoops took all the blame, but you thought they were just going to, they've had a lot of these games where we thought they was going to lose to Austin Peay and struggle with these lower teams, and then when Rodriguez made the run, the defense is pretty much, for the most part, when they've had a chance to finish a game, they have, and they just didn't get it done.
But this felt different.
They play to the level of their competition sometimes, And you mentioned a lot of, Levis not being mobile. Like they've got the best set of receivers that I can remember them having. They've got the number 2 all-time leading rusher, first-round pick at quarterback, and their offense is measurably worse than it has been in the past few years. And, there's some reasons for that. You got the offensive line play has been horrible. You've got Levis' lack of mobility.
Play calling is terrible.
And then the play calling has been horrendous. The season turned on that first play of the South Carolina game. And they made that stupid call. And really,
if they'd have made a block, it would have been.
It would have Jordan Dingle if he makes a block.
Well, it's not even that. That's a terrible play call to begin the game, though.
But if it's a touchdown,
we understand it's a great call. It's true.
The thing that surprised me is I've read where a lot of the players don't know the plays, so they're saying that system.
I've seen it too complicated. And Liam Cohen's having his issues with the Rams. I'd be I'm sure they'd like to have him back this year.
Well, I'll go back to this, guys. Kentucky probably has the fastest wide receiver in the SEC in Barry Brown. They've got one of the best freshman wide receivers in the SEC in Dane Key. But then you never know they're on the field because we don't give them a chance. And I'll go back to this, and I think the people who call for Mark Stoops' jobs are idiots. That's an overreaction after a game like that. Mark Stoops needs to hire a spread offensive coordinator and stay out of it. Stay out of the offense. You do a great job defensively. I've never questioned the defense, not once. Let an offensive coordinator come in there. Kentucky's offensive line's not good enough to run a pro style. It's just not.
Well, and Mark, you know as well as I do, is that Stoops' thing, he wants to control the clock, control the time. You can do that with a spread offense.
Sure, he can.
Just
Yeah. It doesn't have to be Tennessee.
You don't have to be 3 yards in a cloud of dust to control the clock.
No. And Kentucky's got a defense they can lean on when they're healthy. This is not a Tim Couch era where the only chance we have is if we score 50.
Well, I thought at the end of the first half spoke volumes as we had a 4th and 1 just around the 50, late in the half. Why not go for it against Vandy?
Well, not only that, but they don't beat Florida without a Dane Key deep post play, or I guess you call it a go. It's almost like a post where he kind of angled back into the middle of the field there. You don't beat those teams without plays like that, but then there you go again, running tight end, trying to sneak tight ends under linebackers. What are you doing, man?
Well, now you got to listen.
There's not a linebacker in
We got on for 2 or 3 years for not using the tight end.
Yeah.
So now that they've
They
got
just
some
couldn't
really good
finish-
tight
they couldn't
ends,
finish in the red zone.
that you need to use them. A tight end down the middle of the field opens everything else up.
Well, I know, but if that's your best pass play, you're in trouble.
And I've seen some plays where Brown and Gee,
Or wide open.
yeah, but they also run. They don't know where to
Yeah,
sit in a zone.
I know, and they get too far upfield, and there's
Right.
nothing you can do. I understand what you're
It's
saying.
a myriad of things.
Well,
But there's still 2 penalties from 8 and 2, which is amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, the penalty.
you always
at
have a
Ole
bright
Miss,
side to everything, Merle. I mean, I tell you what,
I do with
it's
Kentucky
been cold and
football, not
gloomy in
with-
Nashville the last 3 days, but Merle's
not
over
with-
there.
Not with Kentucky basketball, I don't, but Kentucky football. But look, 2 penalties. Brown don't get set, a half second, and then this guy rips a guy's helmet off on 4th and 1, and we intercept the ball.
Oxendine, man.
That's
Either way, there was a basketball game last
We
night.
got Georgia too.
And we're going to talk about that game. There was a basketball game last night, and in that basketball game, I was impressed early with Kentucky, really, and especially the minute Sheboy brought it off the bench. God, first game back, man, it didn't look like he missed a step. Kentucky has the same problem they had last year, and I know that what you're thinking. It's a perfect time to overreact. It's the 3rd game of the
The
year.
late game was Izzo playing chess
Well,
and Cal playing checkers.
man,
Why are you pressing with 7 seconds to go?
I don't know.
Why don't you just meet them at the free throw line and zigzag them down the floor? I mean, we're up there pressing, and they back screen us. And the guy, I mean, he got a dunk.
That's not the story
How
though.
about the out of bounds play?
That's not the story though.
We
The
don't
story
run
is
out-of-bounds plays.
Kentucky's still not great at the free throw line.
Side out or out? Yeah, we don't.
Kentucky's still not great at the free throw line, and we don't have a pure scorer. Kentucky has no identity right
How many
now.
minutes did Reeves play in the
I
last
know, man,
17
and
minutes?
you know, Cal
and a
took a
half.
lot of heat for that after the
3
game.
minutes.
3 minutes.
But, you
And
know,
they played like Frederick Wallace and Reeves only played together like 2 minutes, and they led us the first. I knew it was different competition. I'm just not sold on Wheeler. He makes good plays, but when it comes
he's
down
very
the stretch,
indecisive in the last couple of minutes, always.
You need a
And-
finisher.
You need to
We need Ty Washington
I
back.
like Wallace at the point myself.
He played pretty well, didn't he?
Well, and like I told I get I get pissed off when I watch Kentucky play and they start playing bad. But
And they needed to find Doogie Howser. He
you
was
know,
killing us.
I seen a stat on Twitter last night. Kentucky's 1-5 in the last 6 Champions Classic games.
Yeah.
Well,
1-5.
you know how Cal uses those. He uses those just, and he made the mistake last night of saying that we haven't had the time. We haven't had the time like everybody else has. You had 4 games in the Bahamas to work on indie
Izzo's
game
got the
stuff.
same.
You've had the same amount of practice time as anybody else. and you talk about you haven't had a time to work on end of game situations.
Where was the
And I'm
kid?
like,
Where's
holy.
the kid that is it a Dario? Is that how they pronounce it?
Talking about the
Play-
7-footer we got?
No, the other kid. That
Yeah, he
played
did.
so well in the preseason.
I'm not sure.
He
Steps
played.
with an A.
He played a Deuterio.
Okay.
Yeah,
But
he
it
was
is human
6'6"
nature
yeah.
to overreact to a loss
And I
like
think
that.
it's
And
human
I'll
nature.
say this, guys: Michigan State is a ranked team.
They're a good basketball.
They're a good. They're a good basketball
Yeah.
team. They're a top 25 team.
I mean, they just got beat 1 point by
1 point by Gonzaga,
Yeah,
and
Gonzaga.
you know they're a solid team, man. And regardless how you feel about Tom Izzo, he's a good coach.
And when Oscar went out, that big dude just he stood up to him.
Well,
that was-
inexperience, and Michigan State had a guy who's hot in the second half, man.
I mean, there's some guys that just. that
We don't have that dude
not
right
getting-
now.
What's Collins?
We have-
What did he do last night?
Well, you know, and Sheway's our
Collins did
dude,
early.
but you're going to have some guys that can make some big time shots down there. And Sheway's a guy who'll get big time rebounds
Right.
and putbacks, but you're going to have some guys that can make threes with hands in their face.
And Frederick's got to make shots because he cannot guard.
Him and
Oh,
Reeves
he
are pretty-
can't. He can't stay in front of anybody.
They were
man.
3 for 14
He's
combined.
kind of Dante Allen with a longer leash.
Well, I think that Kentucky will be fine. And what made me feel better last time I was thinking about it because I overthink. So Kentucky last year went to Lawrence and beat Kansas by 40. Kansas went on to win a national championship. You never know.
I know.
It-
I don't worry about last night. I mean,
We
it's-
got. We'll
the-
get well
the-
against South
the-
Carolina State. Another tough home game.
Gonzaga is Sunday.
That sticks Tuesday night.
Another great,
Sunday,
another
man.
great home
Is it Sunday?
game for the season.
Huh?
ticket
Is it
holder.
Sunday or next
Hey,
Tuesday night?
at least we're
Kentucky
not
plays
Louisville.
Gonzaga on
At
Sunday
least we're not
night.
Louisville 0
But
3.
they got South Carolina.
Lenore
first.
South
Ryan,
Carolina State.
Bellarmine, and Wright State. You
South
know?
Carolina State Sunday or on tomorrow, and then Gonzaga. And it's not at Gonzaga. It's a neutral site game, but it's in Spokane, I believe.
It's not in the kennel.
It's
For
not
the
in the
third-
kennel.
You know, for the third game of the season, I thought that was a tremendous ball game.
It
That was like
was.
you know, the finals.
I'll tell you
I
what.
mean, it was you know, both teams really laid it out there. They both, I thought, played really well.
I didn't. I thought both of them looked terrible. I'll be honest with you.
I think
For this time,
10
the-
points better.
Yeah.
I think so too.
But I'll be honest with you. I just
Yeah,
I was too
and
pissed
in
off to do
Wheeler-
anything
and in
last night.
Wheeler's
I got mad last night.
In
man.
Wheeler's defense, we're not running anything, and then he's stuck there with the ball with 7 seconds every time. And
Well,
then-
everybody's
and
standing
then-
still.
And then Oscar,
Stagnant.
gets his 5th foul going up to set a high ball screen.
It's
Which the
almost
guy
like
flopped
the
on.
only
That was a
play-
foul,
We
but the
don't
guy
run
flopped.
any
He sold.
sets.
The
to get
only
them
play
over.
No.
Cal runs is if there's a three-point shooter and he'll weave them in and out of traffic to get somebody open. And that, hey, it doesn't take a basketball genius to know it. That's what he runs.
But I tell you what, you put a Tyrese Maxey or a Ty Washington back on this team instead of Wheeler at the point, and this team is going 40-0.
I don't know, man. I think, listen, I'll say it. A lot of that last night fell on coaching. Because Merle said it. Wheeler acted like he didn't know what he was doing. That's because they didn't call play. They didn't know.
They never do.
No.
They don't run plays.
It's rinse
Well,
and
either way,
repeat.
Kentucky drops to 2-1. They play tomorrow night. They play Sunday. In local news, anyways, Ashland fired Jason Mays yesterday. Something that we thought would probably was coming. You hate to put that strain on the kids and the staff right before the season. And I know it's still 2 weeks. That's right before the season, guys. Yeah, it pins them against the wall a little bit because they're not able to go out and do a coaching search. And when I say coaching search is because Ashland's a premier program, guys. This is not one of our other local schools looking for a coach, you know, and then they hire somebody like, and then you're asking around, oh, who's coaching that team now? This is a team you know who they're going to hire. Ashland is known throughout the state. You go down to Paducah and say, hey, Ashland basketball, and they're going to know exactly what you're talking about. They after an investigation, the state sent them a letter, pretty much just kind of tied their hands, man, and said, you know, and this is, I can't confirm this. I don't know this for sure, but it almost was like they didn't have a choice. You know, what were they going to do? You know, because the 4-game suspension wasn't accepted. And we know that for sure. And all we can say is what we know. Everybody's heard things. And I've heard 10 different things. But what we know for sure is they didn't accept the 4-game suspension. So Ashland did what they thought they had to do. And I'm not going to say it was the wrong decision. And listen, you can't put the kids in danger. Somebody's got to take their back. And I know there's people out there that are defending Jason Mays, and that is fine, and I won't try to change your opinion on it. But I hope you go to bat for the kids he talked bad about too. If you're going to go to bat for the guy who did it, then go to bat for the guy who, go to bat for the kids that it was said about. And not only that, and I see a lot of these comments that, well, so-and-so school does it, so-and-so school does it. Well, you show me their smoking gun, I'll report them. Because there has never been better evidence towards recruiting than what Coach Mays gave the state. I don't know the details behind what happened, and truthfully, I don't care. I'll be honest with you, I don't. It is what it is. The best thing for Ashland to do right now is move on. They've got a great team. They've got great assistants. They're definitely the favorite to win the region still. Put this in the mirror and move on.
Yeah, I think, all indications Ryan Bonner's going to take over. And when Coach Mays was with the Kentucky All-Stars this summer, Ryan coached the team, which in silver lining was he coached the team and the players know him. And
He's a great coach, and you've seen clips of him coaching on Facebook.
right.
Where he's got the football pads out, bracing these kids for contact in the paint.
The continuity for the program allows them to, it's a 6 months job interview for Ryan Bonner. And also it gives them a chance to go out and put the feelers out, see who else might be interested. Because just say Bonner has a great season, and they decide to hire him, but Ashland owes it to themselves to open this up and see who's out there.
Well, real quick,
Who would be interested?
the thing about hiring a new coach is you want somebody who's a great coach and the kids feel comfortable around also. And sometimes that's different. Nobody ever felt comfortable around Bobby Knight. There's no way, but somehow he managed to get 5 championships. So,
Reed sure did he?
it just was one of those things, man. Ashland's just going to have to, they're just going to have to buckle up and
The bottom line is
play their good basketball like they always do.
There's no postseason ban. The kids aren't getting
Right, and I think the
And
school
that's
board
the-
had to protect them.
That's the best thing is the kids being protected because, there's no doubt Coach Mays did a fabulous job over there.
Well, you
I
can't
always
deny
saw
his
highly
coaching
of him as-
ability. You
as
can't
being-
deny it.
Being a great coach to make in-game adjustments. If they were down at halftime a few points, I never doubted that he was going to have some kind of adjustments made where they would come back out, take the lead.
And this is not a shot at anybody at Ashland, but just because you turn the blind eye does not make you innocent. So, I think it was mixed emotions, guys. Some people were like, "Oh, Jason Mays," they're fans of Jason Mays. Some people that love Ashland, that are big boosters for Ashland, told me to my face, they said, they have a choice. What were we going to do? Either way, Ashland has Bonner as their coach, and they're in good hands. And I think that, guys, Courier Journal released their poll today, and I think Ashland was 9th.
They're still the favorite.
Well, they are. Listen.
They've got some football guys that are really going to help. You got Asher Adkins and Braxton Jennings. And
Nate Freeze got a little bit of size.
Well, the one thing that I was going to say, I'm glad you said football. These people that are defending Jason Mays, and I'm not saying they're wrong because I'm not going to try to change their opinion. Just because you disagree with somebody doesn't make them wrong, okay? These people that are defending them that are self-proclaimed Tomcat fans, they should be at the football games then because guess what? Friday night, Belfry and Ashland played a football game, and Belfry and Ashland are 2 big names, and there was hardly nobody there. That's awful. Those boys deserve that crowd. They deserve those stands to be packed. They've been putting everything they've got on the line for months and months and months, and you don't understand what it's like. Most people, if you played football, you know what I'm talking about. You have no time to do anything during football season because as soon as you get to school, you're there for 7 hours and you're at practice till it's dark. Coach. Am I wrong, Coach Taggers?
I agree with you 100%.
So they should be in those stands supporting those Tomcats. They're going to play in the region
And
championship this weekend.
You're looking at a team that was a defending state champ.
Yep.
You're looking at a team that's with the winningest coach in high school football and coming to this.
And they whooped them.
And you want to see the stands filled. I know, Coach.
And
Taggart
I understand the
loves-
weather played a role.
I was told that Rayson didn't have their stellar crowd as normal. And I know that everybody.
It was the weather,
They're
man.
probably the weather, and Rayson probably feels like these games are not going to be competitive.
Well, I think they know what we
I
know.
hope I'd say they'll have a good.
But that's
crowd.
not an excuse at Ashland.
No, not for that.
Because there's a lot, all but one person in Daily Independent picked Belfry.
Yep.
I picked Ashland. Sean picked Ashland. You picked Ashland. You didn't. So,
But get on the bandwagon.
yeah, no, listen, and you're
I'll
gonna.
I'll get you the
Hey,
application
who
form.
picked Green it?
Yeah.
I did. So did I.
I think, Coach, a lot of things, and you've dealt with this too. We got, and we're in an organization here with you, and I'm not putting you in this program down either, but you've got a program out there that's airing the game live, and
Right.
people are staying home. As a coach, and I'm saying this as a coach.
I completely understand what you're going to say.
Yeah, you're killing when it comes time for us to. You're letting everybody in Northern and Western Kentucky, where we got to fight to win a state championship, see us play every game and got everything they want to know on us, and they don't have to go nowhere. There's no recruiting, there's no scouting, there's no nothing.
I don't want to drive all the way to Moorhead when I can.
I could turn my TV on.
But I will say this.
I like the fact that I can switch between games. And
Yes.
watch multiple games.
But
In
I think that
defense-
plays a lot of toll there on
Yeah.
the ticket
Especially when
cost
it's
in there.
cold and
Yeah.
rainy.
Right, but I don't believe that there is a sports streaming company around here that doesn't pay these schools.
Yeah.
Because we pay East Carter.
Yeah, I don't think it's a money thing anymore.
It's not, and anytime that anybody from East Carter needs anything, they can always ask me. And I'm very fortunate that Kelly Moore
There's
and
just
Tim
so
Champlin
many, so many
and
options. Like you
Baker
Canes
out
playing
at
on
East
Friday
Carter,
night, that
Cole
don't help Kentucky football.
Bramer.
No.
No,
Yeah, they had a game Friday night against Duquesne, and some people are so diehard basketball UK, they're going to watch it.
look at Kentucky and Vanderbilt, man. There wasn't nobody there. I had people on Facebook saying, hey, I'll sell you the tickets for $25 a piece. That's great.
Yeah.
Will Rafferty's and Malone's follow up with that discount? Because that's where I'm going after the game.
Well, Auburn, did you see Auburn? They don't even have a coach, and they had a packed house.
Packed
Yeah.
house. Yeah.
And
Well,
Kentucky fans didn't, they
Well,
just thought they were going to win.
Right,
They
right.
thought they
And,
were gonna
we
win.
got off topic a little bit. Guys, go out and support Ashland and Raceland and Greenup this week. I know it's on TV. I challenge you to go watch them in the stands. Make noise. Greenup's playing for their first time in the regional championship. And how long? If they win, it'll be the first time since 1977 they're in the semi-state championship game. Go out there and support. And Ashland, we've been here. Raceland, I don't think anybody's going to have anything for Raceland until they get to the state championship game. But either way, we'll pick those games here in a second. Go out and support these kids, man. They deserve it. They've worked their butts off. Go out and support them. One thing that we had happen is I went undefeated.
No.
I lost one game, and it was the Vandy,
Yeah,
Kentucky
That's
game.
not undefeated.
It's not undefeated.
Well, I had the best record out of all of you.
You didn't have 16-1 the first week of the season, did
That's
you?
right.
I was undefeated first week. I know that.
Yeah, well, Russell scored first on Lawrence County also.
And that makes it a win.
yeah.
Stop the game right there.
Hey, that was a good one. Come
Stop
on,
it.
man. Give me a little credit, Merle. That was a good
Did I
one.
have
Come on.
Russell over Lawrence?
I
think
think
I
I
had
did.
Ru-
I think I did.
I think I had Russell
I think
the
I
first
did.
5 weeks.
Yeah.
I think I did. Well, either way, anyways, Greenup goes to Lawrence and wins, guys. Tyson Samuels does what Tyson Samuels does.
Yeah.
I mean, stud.
I have to agree with you, Spencer. They'll be a different animal than they saw last time because all my guys from Mason are like, man, that quarterback can spin it. I said, guys, they didn't run their regular offense down there.
I'm so
And
glad
you
you
told
said
me
that. Hey, what did I say on that show?
You
And
got it.
rewind it. You guys clowned me for saying
You
it.
got an inside source on that.
You clowned me for saying it. I said, listen, the only
We
only
didn't
way.
clown you. We just didn't think it was good to go down there and lose.
Well, I will say this. The T-shirt season may end Friday night for Mason County. We'll get into that here in a second.
T-shirt season.
That's what I call it. It's a T-shirt season.
Undefeated.
Undefeated. They made the T-shirts. You know they did. It said undefeated. Nothing against them. Everybody does it when they go undefeated. That's why it's called a T-shirt season. Look, Coach Sally, you had a couple of T-shirt seasons. Come on now. You were down at Johnson Central for a long time, Coach. You had a couple of T-shirt seasons.
That's nice.
He'll never wear them now. No, so
I'm making a blanket out of them, Coach. I'm making a blanket
But
out
what
of
did I tell you what did I tell you that week though? I told you, I said the only way Salmons runs will be on scrambles.
Yep.
He had season high that game in passing yards.
Yeah.
And that guys, when they played the first time, Green didn't have their best receiver. Now they do. and they're going to go and take on a Mason County team. And Coach and Sean and Merle, you guys are perfect examples of this. You always tell me this. It's hard to beat a team twice.
That's right.
We'll talk about that in a second. Raceland cruises, beats Paris, team that sometimes Paris is all right, man. They're hit or miss, man.
Said they were dangerous.
Yeah. Okay. Well, anyways, I shouldn't laugh at that. That's terrible. Why am I laughing at that? Anyways, and then Ashland boys. What we just talked about them. What did I tell you that week? No, what did I tell you? I said Belfry couldn't hold on the ball on a dry field. What do you think's going to happen when it's wet? And I'm not saying that played a factor in the game.
Played a huge factor.
Six fumbles.
Ashland
Yeah,
wins the
it did
game
play.
without fumbles.
Yeah, but
Ashland wins the game without fumbles.
Yeah. But they win a lot quicker.
The quarter. Yeah. Yeah.
I think Ashland wins without fumbles. Guys, my pick to play at Kroger Field is looking pretty good right now. I picked Ashland to play.
hope-
They,
You better hope
you better,
Greenup wins.
and Paducah Tillman, and
Because it'd be an Ashland
and
Greenup or
Bardstown.
Ashland, that would prevent Ashland from
Ashland-
playing Cal.
Yeah.
Okay, I get what you're saying.
If Greenup wins, they would play Cal.
Okay, I get what you're saying.
I think Tillman's 8. So, but I don't know who they play. Who do they play?
Tillman
Cal?
pulled off one of the bigger upsets in 3A in the
Tillman, I
playoffs
think,
last
plays
year.
Cal.
Never count them out, man, especially with those athletes they got,
Bardstown, who do they play?
I don't know. I have to go look. That's terrible. I'm a sports guy.
I don't know who.
Either way,
Raceland's probably going to get maybe Country Day or Crittenden County or somebody in the semis.
whoever they play, it'll be at home, and they're going to beat.
Yeah.
You know, the way
Christian
they play.
Academy, Paducah Tillman, Union County at Bardstown.
Union County. At Bardstown.
Who's Cal play?
Bardstown will win.
Paducah Tillman.
They're out.
The Blue Tornadoes of Paducah Tillman.
They'll be out.
Guys, we're getting ready. We're getting close to basketball season. On Tuesday night here, and we're going to have it next door. We're having a basketball media day, or something like that. Ben Spicer's going to host it. I will be here next Monday. It'll be this Monday. I will be there. We're going to have teams rotating in and out. I believe it's at 7 o'clock. I'm not sure. But basketball's coming right along, and we'll have to change. I guess we could do it on Wednesday still. There's usually no basketball games on Wednesdays. Tuesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays is usually what you got to try to avoid. So, guys, it's going to be a little bit shorter show this week because we don't have that many games. And the games we are picking, they're not real hard picks. We'll start out with Paintsville's going to go to Pikeville and play. Paintsville, man, they've got something. No matter what happens in this game, they can kind of hang their hat on here. They made it to the regional championship. A very inconsistent team all year. Pikeville's just kind of like one of those CSX trains. They just keep rolling down the tracks, and nothing's derailed them since. I mean, you look back to week 1, and Corbin's number 1 in 4A. They had Corbin beat. And Corbin.
Didn't they beat Cocath?
Beat Cocath. I mean, they are rolling. And I actually got to watch Pikeville for the second time this year. I bought the Greenup Lawrence County game, which is NFHS. And whoever does the camera for Lawrence County, boys, that needs to be fixed. That's awful. Truthfully. Anyways, something's got to be done. If I'm paying $10, I'm not feel like that. I've just went down Route 5 in the back seat. So either way,
Is Mason Greenup televised this week, or is it?
I think they're in FHS also. I'm not sure. I'll look into it. I'll call Mason County and I'll release it on EKA, and we'll figure it out. I can't imagine it not being. And if it's not, maybe we can make a call. But either way, Paintsville goes to Pikeville. I think this is where Paintsville's season ends. Pikeville is destined to play Raceland in the state championship at Kroger Field. It would take nothing. I don't even think a miracle could derail that championship matchup. Pikeville.
Pikeville.
Yeah, I'm going to Pikeville too.
Hazard's going to make the trip up here from, that was a 2-hour drive. It's about a 2-hour drive. Isn't it 2.5 hour? Somewhere in there.
2.5.
About that.
Um,
2.5.
Boys, Hazard. I've had people tell me, older fellers tell me that back in the day, Hazard used to have the worst field in Eastern Kentucky. And they used to, when they get tackled, they would stand up and they would pick coal out of their elbows and their forearms. Coach, have you heard that before? Hazard's old field. Now they got turf
Pretty bad.
field. It doesn't matter where they play this game at. They're going to come up here and play Raceland, and Raceland, it's kind of like Pikeville, man. They just kind of been rolling. Give me Raceland, and I don't think it's close.
Yeah, I don't either. I think the Rams.
Same thing.
I hope it's not close because I told Troy Howe on Twitter that Raceland would clock them. So
You know, when you think about this, though, Raceland's going to have the athletes by far over them. But Hazard up front, let's see what kind of test that Hazard, and this is going to, I think Raceland's going to win easy. I mean,
Okay.
But what I'm saying, though, is I think Hazard also up front will give the offense and defense a task on what they're going to face in Pikeville.
Yeah.
Because it's similar to the same up front, you know, on the lines.
I think an advantage Raceland has, and it probably won't be against Pikeville, is their depth.
Their depth, yeah.
I mean, they got 33 upperclassmen. That's unheard of for Class A school. And you've seen some games, you know, Greenup was down 7, and then the fourth quarter, it's over. Because I think that depth.
You think the depth?
They keep pounding and pounding. That's their motto.
you were setting up for that one, weren't you?
And
Yeah.
Hazard's going to have to watch kicking the ball. You know, the special teams, Hazard can't kick the ball off to him, and punting's going to be dangerous. It's just, you know,
Yeah. Well,
just too much.
we got a lot more
Yeah.
games. We got probably 8 more games to predict, but we're going to do it after this commercial break. You are watching Sports Central on the Eastern Kentucky Athletics Media Network.
Hey, I'm Erin.
And I'm Michael. Come see us at Bowman's.
Gillum Drug, 1237 Carter Avenue, Ashland, is a locally owned pharmacy devoted to providing excellent customer service, not found at the chain drug stores, and Gillum Drug will treat you like family. Stop by today and experience it. Gillum Drug, next to Domino's. When you shop Grayson Sporting Goods, you're supporting a great family-owned business with new owners and team sales. To celebrate, get all your high school gear, including high school spirit wear. Grayson Sporting Goods also does embroidery and vinyl transfers. Open Monday through Friday, 10 to 5, and Saturday, 10 to 3. Check with Grayson Sporting Goods for extended seasonal hours.
Hey, this is Greg Gibson with Greg Gibson Insurance, and just an announcement, I'm retiring from Major League Baseball. This will be my final season. After 24 years as Major League umpire, I'm ready to become a full-time insurance guy. So anyway, if you haven't heard about us, check us out on the web, www.greggibsoninsurance.com. Give us a call today. Stop by. We'd love to talk to you about your insurance. Give us a call today. It's Greg Gibson Insurance, helping you make the right call.
Hey, I'm Erin.
And I'm Michael. Come see us at Bowman's.
All right, guys, we are back, and we got a couple more games to pick. And hopefully the cameras don't act crazy again. It's wild, wasn't it? So, guys, these are kind of the bigger ones this week, and I went 2-0 last week in the bigger ones. 2-0. 2-0. Either way. Graham County's going to go to Mason County, a game they played week 10. And you guys, gave me a hard time about it. Regardless how you paint the picture, that's what happened. And I told you that they were going to kind of play with Tyson Salmons conservatively. And they did. You go back and you look at the stats, they only had 9 rushes. And I talked to Graham County's coaches, they said 5 of those were scrambles. But Tyson Salmons did his thing through the air, and Graham almost went there and won without him running the ball. Mason County guys, I've kind of taken some heat about this, calling it a T-shirt season. They're undefeated still. They do have a good win on that schedule, though. They beat Boyd County, who we are all very high on Boyd County. And actually, I'm glad I said that. Merle, you were at the game Friday night. You told us that if Boyd County didn't have one player, that Boyd County probably beats them.
Yeah, that kid was every big play they needed, like the first drive, 4th and 4, broke it. About every time they gave him the ball.
Boyd County
and Boyd finally scored and made it 21-7. And the only time Cole Thompson I've seen not kick it to he's automatic. He only got it to the 2, and he took it 98 yards.
Man, Boyd County had a heck of a year this year.
I'm going Musketeers.
Sean, are you riding the Musketeer train?
I'm going to ride the Musketeer.
You guys are
bandwagon
starting to
this week.
listen.
I think Mason has an injury, and then I think they've got a kid out maybe for academics that might play a role. I think that they're going to see a different Greenup County team with Salmons, and I think Greenup's got a lot of confidence. And that's I read where Coach Moore said you can play physical if you have the confidence and if you know what's coming. And I think that staff's done a good job of preparing them every week, and I think they're going to do it.
Coach?
I'm going to go different side this time. I'm going to stay with Mason County.
Now,
It's
wait a
still
minute.
there.
How come anytime you go against me, you're like, not so fast? But when you disagree with them, you're like, I'm just going to pick somebody else this time.
He didn't say not so fast.
He didn't say it, but he
I did
always
not
not
say
so
not so
fast
fast
me,
yet,
though.
I just
He
think
always not so fast me,
they're
but he
taking
never
that
says that
trip
to you
again,
guys.
and it's hard. It's hard to play there. It's really a hard place to play. They got a really good atmosphere. They will fill their house, Mason County.
Well, that's not a big deal. They
no,
got,
but they're
you know,
still going to fill their house, and it's tough to beat them up there. I just think that
They should fill their house. They ain't got many stands. I mean,
They turf now.
they do have turf.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay, well, good.
it's a different
But I've
stadium
seen where
since you played.
So Mason County coach,
they're trying to get their students out. Obviously, they weren't there last week. Somebody's paying for them to all get in free.
pulling Ole Miss.
So, yep.
Let me tell you something. It don't matter who's hurt. It don't matter if they're healthy. It don't matter where they're playing at. Greenup County's going to travel down the AA and beat the T-shirt seasons. The T-shirt season ends Friday night. They've had a great year. Give me Greenup County, and I think it's convincing. Give me Greenup County. I'm not going to give you a score. I'm not going to. Greenup County, physical game. Greenup County.
This is one night Ashland will be rooting for them because if Greenup wins and Ashland wins, Ashland won't have to play Cal.
Well,
Greenup will get that.
Speaking of those Tomcats, they're going to make a trip to Log Mountain. Boys, that's a long drive,
It's a nice-
especially on a
nice little
bus.
trip.
That's a haul down to Bell County, and they're going to play legendary coach who he's got his fair share of wins. He'd be in the Mount Rushmore of Eastern Kentucky coaches, wouldn't he, Coach?
Well, we went down there in 2020.
Yeah, exactly,
Played
with Pittman and JT Garrett,
yeah.
and Ashland ended up winning that game. But this is different Bell County team.
Yeah, it is.
I'm going to let you go first, Merle, because I think that I don't want you to copy
Tomcats.
me. Yeah.
Tomcats.
We-
They've convinced me. I don't know why I didn't take them last week because I saw their speed against McGoffin.
It's not their speed, man. They're elusive, and they're
Right.
very shifty. They make really good moves, and they are one of the hardest teams I've seen to try and tackle an open field.
Well, like Coach Tackett said, they become a versatile team offensively. I think the emergence of Jennings and their other back,
Yeah.
and Strader is like a fullback back there.
Right.
Throw.
And a quarterback.
And you wouldn't know. You would think when you see this kid warming up, he's a true pocket passer,
Yeah.
and he can throw the ball very, very well.
Yeah.
And then you see him run, you're like, whoa, wait a minute now. That kid's as fast as our linebackers.
You guys probably know more about Bell than I do. I don't really know much.
Well, I know that Bell County has lost 2 games this year. One of them was not a great loss. One of them was to Pulaski County. Pulaski
Pretty
County's
good
always
football.
really tough.
They're good football.
But Ashland's going to go down there and hand them their 3rd loss and end their season. Ashland in Log Mountain beats Bell County.
I'm going with Ashland too. You know, I mean, speed kills, man. And all it takes is Houston to get one step behind the DB, and Strader's going to find him.
Well, yeah, I know what you're saying, and I agree with you. But Ashland, the last 5 weeks, guys, has been terrific.
They're
running the
balance.
football.
Balance.
Running the football has, they've kind of been like the Bengals a little bit. I think they got a little pass heavy there for a little bit and forgot what they had in the backfield. Braxton Jennings, guys, has been phenomenal this year.
And I think when you've got young kids, they're very receptive of coaching.
Right.
You get to be a senior and you've heard it for 3 years. Sometimes you get a little complacent. I think these kids are hungry, and really their leaders are a lot of the younger kids. I know they've got some good seniors as well, but their playmakers are young.
Ashland all around.
Yeah,
an
I'm
Ashland
going to
coach?
go with Ashland. And you know what? When you look at the Tomcats, I think their offense, the way they're going, I love the Jennings kid. The kid has came a long ways. I told you from coaching over the
Right.
last 2 years, his maturity, his level stepping up. He runs really hard up in between. Probably a lot harder
Fearless.
than Pittman did.
Fearless.
Pittman had to learn that throughout his senior year to get, and once he figured that out, this kid, And maybe it has a lot to do with his father being Chris Jennings, former professional athlete, one of the greats around here, probably one of the best running backs to come out of this area. He's got something he wants to show. And
The best to ever come out of this area, Sean.
Yeah,
What do you think?
We've got
The
quite a few.
best.
Him and Arliss.
No. Arliss was good.
But you're looking
The
at,
best.
But you're looking at a kid here that's came a tremendous long way, and you got a quarterback here. I told you from the start, this kid it's just Coach Tackett can't say nothing but praise for this young man this year. To where he's gone from the start to now.
And he's got a good set of hands on him too.
But he's only a sophomore.
Yeah,
and you got to think, it's putting a sophomore in that position to run your team.
Yeah.
And I really think it's lit the fire of the defense. I think the defense has come a long ways. I think the defense is going to show Bell. They're going to put a stop. Bell's a good team, but I think the defense is going to win this ball game for them and give the offense the opportunity to just score and score at will when they, I just think it's too much Ashland, too many athletes.
It won't be 35-0 like it was a couple of years ago down there.
Maybe.
I don't think it'll be that.
It might be 42-0.
I look for them. I mean, what they've done.
You never know, man. Would you have predicted the score they put on Belfry?
No. That's
Okay,
right.
now if Belfry and Bell County played,
Ashland letter jacket.
if Belfry and Bell County played, would you pick Belfry?
I mean, that was a good football
Probably.
team. And that's
I mean, from the Russell coaches I talked to and some other coaches from other schools, they were shocked by that because they really thought Belfry up front was really good.
yeah.
They had no speed nowhere, man. They were mean, they were physical, but Ashland did what they wanted to with their speed. They spread everybody out and said, okay, you can be good up front, but guard us on the edges.
Yeah.
And Belfry couldn't. And they did what Belfry did all year. They put the ball on the ground.
I thought that
First place at the time.
I thought that first play he's going to be hemmed up for a 2-yard loss because he stopped totally.
I'm talking about Terrell.
Terrell stopped in his
Yeah.
tracks like he was going to be, and then
There he
he just
went.
took off again. They couldn't catch him.
Yeah.
He's got great quickness, great
Yeah.
feet.
No knock on anybody. Belfry's great. And listen, Belfry's kind of been spoiled by how
And they're young.
Belfry's been spoiled by how many state championships and success that they've had.
Well,
They'll be
most-
back.
you know,
And you see middle school football, what Belfry's been doing. Belfry will be fine.
And I heard Lawrence County's middle schools.
Their eighth grade
Belfry
team
won the
boys
state.
as good as it
Belfry
gets.
won the 8th grade state championship. Didn't they?
Belfry and Lawrence County coach, 8th grade football programs are as
But
good
both these
as
programs,
it gets.
Ashland don't have a lot of seniors. They've got a lot of underclassmen out there playing.
I'm glad you said that.
And they played on the defensive side. That's what I was kind of impressed with. They tackled very well in open field, and they went after Belfry. And,
Okay.
and to beat a good Belfry program, you got to go after them. You got to beat them on the line of scrimmage, but you got to go beat them up. You know what I'm saying? You got to get physical with them, and Ashland did that.
Belfry was never in the game. Moving on. Shelby Valley goes to Beechwood. Guys, I've been a Wildcat all year. But unfortunately, when you go to Beechwood, that's kind of the lump in the throat that 1A schools used to always get when Raceland and Fairview were really good back in the day is, well, when are you going to play Beechwood? And then your season's over. No offense. That's just the way it was back in the day. Shelby Valley, their season ends. Russ Osborne's had a great career. He's been phenomenal to cover and watch down at Shelby Valley. He'll go somewhere and play college football. He's that good.
Yeah.
Their
Beechwood's
season ends
totally different
at
animal.
Beechwood.
Yeah, Beechwood.
Johnson Central's going to go to Corbin. It's a big boy game right here. This is big boy football. This is as big as it gets. I mean, they're going to be some pads popping down in Corbin. Johnson Central guys, every time we think Johnson Central, man, they're not the same team. They win again. They win again. I'm going to go Corbin though, man, at home.
Go Corbin.
What are they?
Red
The Red Hounds. The Red
Hounds,
Hounds.
yeah.
Who you going?
Corbin.
I'm going Corbin.
Don't look at me
it's
and not see.
Corbin.
You not so fast, me. I'll put. Don't you dare.
Not so fast, guys.
Why are
Not
you
so
looking at
fast.
me?
I'm
man?
sorry,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I watched the game last week, and the Conley boy is back. He made some great blocks. He had a couple really nice runs. He's going to be nothing but stronger this week. I'm telling you, Johnson Central's making a little bit run here at the end, and I thought Corbin would handle him pretty good at the beginning of the year when I thought this, but now, I think Johnson Central goes down there. They win the line of scrimmage battle with Corbin in the big dog match. Johnson Central goes on.
That could very well happen. I just like Corbin a little bit because it's at home. Guys, we do have to talk about this.
One date we need to circle, January 18th.
What's that?
Realignment meeting.
Okay, January 18th, the realignment meeting. Well, anyways, moving on. I know that this is a dreaded topic, and I really don't want to talk about it because I know it's going to piss me off. Kentucky's going to play Georgia Saturday, and
Georgia don't have anything to play for. So.
they don't have to beat
And
Kentucky.
Kentucky will show up.
They don't have to.
better than they did this past Saturday.
Well,
No doubt.
I expect them to be more competitive.
I don't.
But I still
No.
think Georgia's going to beat them. 35-14, 35-17, something like that.
No, worse than that. What Georgia has going for them is they can man up on any receiver core in college football
they
and
can
play
do
man
that.
and say, okay, get passes. And Kentucky's offensive line is not good enough to kind of combat that a little bit. Georgia will win by as much as they want. Georgia.
Georgia.
I haven't
Let's hope
seen
we
a
got
team
enough
like
guys
that.
to
But I do think you will see a better showing out of
You mean not just sloppy?
Yes.
If you just have to punt the ball away or settle for field goals, that's fine. But the way we lost Saturday, man, that was really
Is an embarrassment.
That was a
Levis
punch in
gonna-
the stomach. I mean, you can't. It was just. I know that you can't wait to talk about how Kentucky's going to lose, Coach.
How bad is the injury to Levis, the quarterback for Kentucky?
Well, he's
wearing an
active,
oversized shoe.
but he can't
still
run
playing
though, and that's half of his game. He can't run.
I mean, look how he ran against Louisville last year.
Well, he better put an undersized shoe on this week because these defensive ends and linebackers that come from Georgia, they're going to go after him.
Best defense you've ever seen in college football ever, Georgia.
last season's Georgia.
Last season's Georgia.
Yeah.
They're pretty good.
When Kent State scores a lot on you, I can't
Yeah.
put you in there.
I just
true.
can't see and with the trouble that
That is
Kentucky's
true. That's a
having
valid
with that
argument.
offensive
That's a good
front
one.
line,
I like that.
can't see him.
I forgot
holding
about
out.
that. They scored more than Kentucky. Either way, Georgia is the only team in college football who could man up with any receiver. They've got corners.
I would like to see him play the Buckeyes and Harrison.
That'd be a bad day for Coach Salyers. Bad day. But I will say this: I'll help you out a little bit, and you might like me after this. I am picking Ohio State to beat Michigan.
I don't know.
How about that?
Who's Ohio State play this week?
Probably Kent State.
You see Stroud. You see Stroud and Bryce Young.
Maryland.
You see
Maryland? They're probably worse than Kent State.
You see Stroud and Bryce Young and these guys getting the Heisman love. I want to know why Stetson Bennett IV didn't get any Heisman love. I mean, he's putting up the numbers.
Yeah.
All he does is win.
Because he's 35 years old. That's
That
why
don't
he's
matter.
not getting any Heisman
Look at
love.
Chris Winkie. He
He's
was
older than
38 when he
Brandon
won.
Whedon.
Yeah, he was, wasn't he?
Do
Winkie
you
was.
do you guys think there'll be two SEC and two Big Ten?
I think that there almost has to be two SEC teams.
I know,
I
but
think if Michigan were to lose, their conference schedule and their non-conference schedule is not strong enough to get them in.
But if TCU loses, I think it'll be Tennessee.
I think it has to be,
I
man.
think it'll be three.
Could be
Tennessee,
three.
Georgia.
I think Tennessee's in the
What
driver's
do you
seat.
think? Tennessee, Georgia, Ohio State, and Michigan are the best four.
No, I would not
Who's
put
the other
Michigan in
one?
there. I would not
Who'd
put
you
Michigan
put
in
in
there.
there?
Well, on paper, Michigan's best win's Penn State.
I know, but who are you gonna put in there?
I think LSU would beat Michigan.
Two lost LSU.
But you said don't talk on paper just now. I'm talking on paper.
I think Michigan, Ohio State, Tennessee, and Georgia are the best four teams.
I think Ohio State will beat Michigan so bad that they'll think about not playing football anymore.
How's Lincoln Riley
Better
and the
get some running
Trojans?
backs.
Are they
Well,
close?
We're set it out to,
you think USC's not dead? Is that why you said that?
Are they close? I don't know.
man,
I think they're top 10, ain't they?
yeah.
Well, I think Utah's ranked 10th.
Yeah.
The Pac-12, they lost to Florida, man. Take them out of the contention. They can't, no.
USC plays UCLA this
State,
week.
yeah.
UCLA had a bad loss last
I mean,
Best
nobody can
uniform
watch any
game
good
there
Pac.
is.
Yeah.
You don't
I
even know what's
love
going
their-
on at the
see
Pac-12
those
because they
teams on
don't start
TV.
their games till 11
week.
o'clock.
Oregon got beat by
Washington, that's a solid team, though. Either-
Alabama. Might sneak in there.
Yep. Could.
I think Tennessee's in the driver's seat.
Well,
They're
you're
going to,
kicking out. TCU needs to lose.
And
man, I mean, if we can put in
They
Cincinnati,
could
then we
lose
can put in
this week if
anybody.
They play somebody decent this
There's
week.
always that stinker that gets in there.
Who's TCU play this week?
I don't know, but there's always that stinker. You
I
know,
was
you go back to
surprised-
Cincinnati,
I
you
was
go back to
surprised.
Michigan State when they were in there. And guess who was a stinker last year? Michigan. Michigan was. There's always that one game where it's just like,
I just don't. I was really surprised at how TCU handled Texas. Texas has got some dudes, man, on defense.
yeah, they do.
But
They look pretty good.
yours just did nothing.
he hadn't played well since
TCU
Alabama.
plays Baylor.
Baylor.
They'll win that game.
Where's it at?
Probably Waco.
It's at Baylor.
Baylor had a stinker last week.
Don't look
I'd
at me
watch
like
that
that.
one. I would watch that
Don't
one.
even give me that one. No.
So how's Tennessee going to get in? They going to take Michigan's spot?
USC's number
I
7.
think they have to, man.
They got
How would they
UCLA,
not?
man.
Michigan.
USC still got.
If you compare schedules, Merle, look at Tennessee's wins on the road at
High
LSU,
State's really not. I mean, I'm a High State.
but they're going to be a
football
conference
guy.
champion. though.
Hey,
Notre Dame lost.
They're going to be
SC's got-
undefeated conference
There's
champion.
Notre Dame.
though.
How many games they lost? 3?
3.
They're at.
SC still got UCLA.
If you are
and Notre Dame, so
comparing
they got a
Tennessee to
shot.
Michigan, there's nothing to talk about.
SC could be a dark horse, but I don't.
But you're going to put them above Tennessee?
Tennessee hadn't lost. Tennessee won't lose again.
Exactly. I think it's going to be
Don't they
Georgia,
got
Tennessee,
They got Vandy and somebody, don't they?
Georgia, Tennessee, and if TCU makes it, if TCU goes undefeated, they're going to be there.
South Carolina and Vandy.
And, of course,
See,
Ohio
Tennessee.
State.
If Ohio State and Michigan's close, Tennessee won't get in. If TCU wins.
And
I don't think so. I think a Michigan loss, regardless if it's in 8 overtimes, because then you're going to look and say, okay, they have the same record, who has the best wins, neither are a conference champion. You have to give the edge to Tennessee. As much as I hate them, you have to. Because at that point, Michigan's best win against Penn State,
Tennessee's best win.
against 2 top 10 teams, Alabama and LSU.
2-2 lost team.
Top 10, though.
Yeah.
You got to give it to them. Got to. Over Michigan?
Cadillac might beat Alabama.
I mean, hell,
Cadillac
Penn
might
State.
do it. They
Penn
gotta hire
State.
Cadillac.
Penn State, I remember when he had, it was Cardell Jones, Cadillac Williams, and Jason Campbell. Boy, that 04 Auburn team was good, weren't they, Merle? Either way, guys, we will be back next week after Ashland and Green go and win, and Raceland's going to win, and who
And the
else?
Bengals are going to beat the Steelers this week.
As long as they don't have to kick field goals.
And we got some previews.
Yeah.
We
over
got
at
some.
Russell this weekend, or Monday and Tuesday night.
Do we? So you're going to be over there
Basketball,
doing for the Daily Independent.
not previews.
Okay. Well, like I said, it'll be before too long. We'll be
28th. I mean, they'll be
in the warm gyms eating the good popcorn. You know, Russell's got the best popcorn. Have you ever had their popcorn? Man, that stuff's good.
Before we get off there, I'd like to, also say to all the people out there in McGoffin County
Yeah.
that we're supporting. Our prayers go out to you, to all the kids and that bus driver. That was that was a pretty serious
Awful.
accident.
Because
That
they
was
said that
horrible.
bus driver got ejected from the bus.
Yes, and we're lucky nobody's, it's not been critical so far. There are a lot of people in critical condition, but, just
It
put
could have
our
been a
prayers
lot
out there.
worse, is what
Could
you're
have been a
saying.
lot
Yeah,
worse.
exactly.
A lot worse.
And Stoop mentioned the coach down at the Somerset that passed away.
Somerset had their coach
Somerset.
pass away, so
Yes.
it's kind of been an eventful week, guys. Nothing could ease our minds better than having some good football.
Yeah.
And next week's Thanksgiving, so
Yeah.
and you can tell that's always a high on my list. You want to know something weird? No, I can't say it on air. Can't say it on air. It's a food allergy that I have, but if I say it on air, I might get sabotaged. So, next week. Next week
Yes, who's the Browns play this week?
we play
The Bills in
Bills.
Buffalo.
That's a loss. I don't even want to talk
coming
about
off
it.
a
It's going to be a snowstorm, too.
It doesn't matter where it's.
Lake effect snow this week.
I'm leery of Steelers again. I mean, we got to win a division game.
Yeah. I think
But Reader might be back.
If you guys run the ball, you'll be fine.
Reader, the PFF
Why you
guy.
send me that crap?
I'm ready
every
for the
week,
draft.
man?
Like we got beat by the
Merle
Colts.
sends me this
Oh my God.
PFF crap during the week, and he knows what I think about
I can't
it.
believe he just blew over the realignment. I mean, football coaches are going. They'll be on.
But you know what?
DEFCON
though?
10
Can I say something about this though? That should be done in December.
Yeah.
for scheduling? For
Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying crunching these schedules, but at least everybody's on the same playing field. you
Didn't
know?
the enrollment numbers just go out, right?
Yes.
Well, one thing's for sure is there's always a couple games on every team's schedule. You know you're going to play. Like Ashland's going to play Boyd, no matter what. And
Oh.
Some people aren't.
Russell was always going to play Raceland, right? Well, that's been kicked over.
Not
So
anymore.
you don't know what's going to happen.
Boyd dropped Russell, but I heard now they want Russell back.
Yeah.
Wonder why.
we'll talk about
Wonder
that
why.
later. We'll talk about that later. For Spencer Hutchinson, Merle Kidwell, Sean Hutchinson, and Coach Mark Salyers, this has been a presentation of Sports Central on the Cool Hits Sports Network and Eastern Kentucky Athletics Media Network.